Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2! It's a challenge, Kakarot!
Many traditional fighters will disregard the defensive side of a game's depth because many games only incorporate a single button for defensive purposes, with slight directional variation. In Street Fighter II, one may use zoning tactics as offensive and defensive means for optimal positioning, jumping and ducking for vertical defensive control, and prioritizing to ensure that any attack produced by the opponent does not inflict the intended damage. An example of this would be canceling out a Hadouken with a counter Hadouken. While I personally remain forgiving of the traditional fighter's defensive limitations, over time, defensive techniques such as the parry have been incorporated as well, further exemplifying the depth of the traditional fighter's defensive system. All listed concepts considered, they still pale in comparison to that of the Tenkaichi 2 defensive system and the skill requirement therein. At the core of basic Tenkaichi 2 defense, all traditional concepts apply. Traditional zoning emphasis has been replaced by that of strafe zoning in Tenkaichi 2, covering this defensive concept. Attacks in Tenkaichi 2 possess priority qualities that neutralize and overpower other attacks. While base melee holds its own understanding of respective priority, combo sets may also hold priority over each other, based on the speed and quantity of hits within a character's combo set. A character's combo set that possesses a faster combo set or larger quantities of melee attacks may push through or even outlast that of the opponent's combo set. To this effect, one must note that while the sparking combo can be executed through Dragon Dash transitioning as explained in the previous episode, sparking mode may also alter combo-based limitations, extending the quantity of the combo set by connecting both the base combo set and supplementary combo set, and then looping them continuously until sparking mode is concluded. While base melee will nullify the opponent's base melee, an ongoing combo set, fueled by sparking mode, will hold priority as the opponent's base combo set concludes. However, as this may present a combo set with larger melee quantities to prove more useful when exhibiting priority, it is important to acknowledge what is known as the no-stun first hit syndrome, also known as the abbreviated NSFHS. This effect takes place when a character's first square of the base combo set consists of more than one hit, at which time if the first hit makes contact with the opponent is able to bring up his guard prior to the remainder of the combo set. This is not present with every character that possesses above average base combo set melee quantity, but it is definitely a factor to consider during combat when using those that do. Also, while base melee will neutralize the opponent's base melee, any charged melee will overpower base melee. In fact, even the act of charging one's melee presents an armor effect that base melee cannot penetrate. Beyond this, the measure of charge is irrelevant when comparing priority of charged melee attacks versus charged melee attacks. Therefore, while one's offensive intentions may vary, a fully charged melee attack can be neutralized with a weak charged melee attack. To the same respect, charged hooks will neutralize other charged hooks in the same fashion. However, while both the base charged melee and charged hooks are melee structured, they cannot neutralize each other. In this respect, traditional priority will apply. Ki blasts will overpower base melee, but not charged melee, depending on the charge. Signature super blasts may overpower other signature super blasts, but this is completely dependent on the blast being used. All ki-based super blasts, such as the Kamehameha, will hold priority over rush attacks, even though rush attacks are considered to be unblockable. Now, while some super blasts of similar types may simply cancel each other out, much like the Hadouken versus Hadouken concept, some super blasts of similar types present a clash animation, in which the blasts will collide and initiate a struggle animation. During this struggle or clash animation, both characters must rotate their joysticks to decide the victor. Evading attacks in Tenkaichi 2 takes place in all aspects of movement. In essence, if we are to consider the defensive concepts of traditional fighters, including what the traditional fighter may consider to be advanced, Tenkaichi 2's basic defensive construct covers everything before reaching basic completion. Unfortunately, the base guard and/or directional guard may not be enough to handle the super blasts, especially those that are considered to be unblockable, for example, rush attacks. For such attacks, I now find it necessary to explain defensive teleportation. Teleportation is one of the more interesting aspects of a fighting game, especially when regarding the combat system of Tenkaichi 2. While teleportation may exist in other games, such as Mortal Kombat, the technical aspect does not relate to the game so much as the individual characters themselves. For example, Scorpion's teleport punch is a technique made for Scorpion. Quan Chi's teleport stomp is made for Quan Chi, and Raiden's teleport is made for Raiden. One could make the point that Scorpion's teleport punch is designed as an offensive technique, but can be used as a defensive technique in accordance to the player's strategy. Such a concept is reflected by Tenkaichi 2's system, but on a somewhat universal understanding and with regard to several levels of teleportation. In other words, most characters in Tenkaichi 2 can teleport through universal execution, and there are different types of teleportation that relate to the circumstance at hand. While such teleportation holds a specific design that is to reflect that of the given circumstance, they too can be used as a different means in accordance to the player's strategy. As the teleportation system of Tenkaichi 2 can become somewhat complex, and more to the point, can complicate other aspects of battle, we will start simple, beginning with defensive teleportation. When performing defensive teleportation, it is important to know what attacks relate to such defense. Defensive teleportation does not work against all attacks, and the timing required to teleport against the correct attacks is very demanding. Other fighting games possess a similar time-required defense, such as parries for counter-strikes. However, unlike such games that possess such time-related defense, the window for defensive teleportation is relatively small. In order to defensively teleport an attack, one must judge exactly when the attack is going to hit and press circle just as the attack is about to make contact. Such attacks include charged melee, banishing attacks, super blasts, some support blasts, and chargeable hooks, with the exception of the Kai cannon and flying kicks. As chargeable melee and hooks can be initiated any time during a combo set, one must react accordingly to the attack that may require defensive teleportation. The same can be said about related support blasts such as the Vice Shout. Super blasts are handled a bit differently, reflective of what has previously been explained by Ki blast deflection. When judging an incoming super blast, one must comprehend the type of blast, speed of blast, radius of blast, and distance of blast before attempting to perform a defensive teleport. Remember, we are once again using depth perception as a means for defensive teleporting, not side to side like the traditional fighter. While many super blasts can be blocked by the base guard, this usually results with chip damage, which can be reduced by incorporating the strong guard. This is executed by holding guard and pressing triangle. Be careful, for this consumes ki. If one were to use the strong guard against a rush attack, the rush attack will be stopped, but this too will result with guard crush. In other words, if a super blast is blocked with any form of guard, the player will be required to sacrifice something, be it life or ki. Keep in mind that some super blasts are still unblockable, so it is optimal to develop a strong defense in teleportation. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we will continue with defensive teleportation. This is ZeroAnnihilated, and you are watching Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2 Evolution.